Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order for Monday, July 11th, 2022 for the Douglas Library Board of Trustees. I believe we start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Those are hard words to say right now.
I'm surprised someone didn't yell play ball. Okay. Let's see. All right. Now we move on to the secretary and approving the minutes from the last meeting. Oh, wait a minute. Public comments. Do we have any publics here? No? Anyone? No? Okay. Sorry, there are no public members here, so we shall move on to the next part of the agenda, which would be starting the reports. And the first thing would be the approval of the minutes from 6/13 meeting.
I move that we accept them as presented.
Well, I had it, before we do that, can anyone hear me or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Before we do that, page 3, item 4, the ACLB, the board assessment tool. It says something about it's tabled until Gail and Peter can meet with Kevin and do an evaluation. Well, don't we fill out a form prior to that? I mean, isn't that a little out of, I'm just not sure if that's correct.
Yes, the Gail, if I may,
Go ahead.
the board does Kevin's review individually. They get the results back to Gail and I. We collate the results and we take the answers and the results and incorporate all into one master review that represents the feelings of the entire board. And that is then when Gail and I traditionally sit with both Kevin and Andy to present the formal review.
That
That's
sums
my
it up well,
understanding
Peter.
also, but it doesn't say that in the minutes.
Said even in the last minutes.
Pardon?
I'm just wondering, we discussed that at the last meeting?
You sure that's not under the old business Kevin's report?
Under old business, item 4, under ACLB board assessment tool.
Yeah, okay, I understand how it got in there, but it, because we do that, but I don't like that.
It seems like 2 items got combined into one.
Yeah, that could be, Donna.
Well, that's part of it. But the other part is about this table until Gail and Peter can meet in July. I mean, that's simply not correct.
Yeah, my memory says that you are correct, Mary Ann. It doesn't belong there.
Marianne, if we took out the words in July, would that make it accurate?
No,
No, because they're not going to, okay.
because it's not tabled that way. The board has to go through, as Peter just said, we all get to go through the evaluation tool and we submit that. And then, and then that is.
Okay. I see.
Got it? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand now. Sorry. So the evaluation is not just by Gail and Peter.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Correct.
Understand now. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and actually, this is the month in which we, Peter and I actually will be getting together to send out the forms to the whole board and to do that. But I don't know how that's, yeah, that
I'm
didn't
not
come
sure
up.
what is tabled.
Excuse me?
I'm just not sure what is tabled either.
Neither am
Or
I.
what was tabled.
Well, can we just put tabled period, because it's what
I think
happened,
tabled needs to be out of there.
or you just want it out and just drop the whole
Yeah.
item?
You agree? Peter, Mary Ann, I think it needs to be out of there.
Yeah, I
Well,
think it's-
that needs to be out of there, but you need to have something in there prior to your meeting in July about the board filling out that evaluation tool. That needs to start it.
I'm not sure that was actually discussed at the meeting. I know that we talked about tabling it, but I don't remember the conditions under which we talked about it.
Yeah,
And
and I
actually,
think
it would be
that-
tonight that Peter and I would say, hey, folks, we're gonna be sending you, look in your email, we're gonna be sending you a form.
right.
But it's the heading of that item is incorrect.
That's.
Because that's
yeah.
talking about the board assessment tool, not the
Plan.
director's evaluation.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah, Donna is correct.
yes, Donna, you are correct. Let's
Was
see.
there an item on the agenda for director evaluation? I don't think there was.
I
think
don't
No.
might have
recall.
just-
No.
It was.
It just came up in discussion around the
Yeah.
ACLB assessment tool, so that's why it's listed under there.
So it was tabled, but didn't have anything about the meeting with Kevin and doing the evaluation, correct?
I
No, it did
believe-
not.
Okay. So, I mean, would we correct instead if it was just tabled? Would that be an accurate assessment? Well, what happened? We did have an agenda item, so we have to have something in the minutes about it.
Well,
You
that
didn't-
also was wrong, I think. That said board assessment tool, finance. I've just gone back to the last
Oh, thank you.
agenda.
Board of Finance. Finance.
And remember Kevin did say that was an error, that he hadn't changed that when he didn't write professional and,
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, we changed that to professional. So we have to do something about having the ACLB board assessment tool.
Yes,
So I guess what you're saying, it was finance in the original agenda, but was corrected to professional.
that was
Exact-
the start, yes.
Yeah. And then it was tabled.
No,
no.
and I don't think so.
Did we just skip it? I mean, we didn't really handle anything. We didn't go over the assessment
Mhm.
tool. I mean, what would be,
Well, isn't this the board, Kevin's evaluation, isn't that
But,
taken from the ACLB?
but Gail said that they will be sending it out this month.
Yeah, we never discussed Kevin's evaluation. I was presenting one small subsection of the ACLB self-evaluation tool. It had nothing to do with our internal assessment of our library director. So it got a little
Someone must
mixed
have
up
said
there.
something.
Gail, how
What's
would you,
that?
Yeah,
Gail, how would you correct that?
Then it's very briefly that the ACLB assessment tool is just talking about the assessment of library directors. And I briefly mentioned two, of a large library and a small library, and they are out on our website.
Okay, but we
That's-
took no action on that agenda item.
No, there's no action to take. It was
Okay.
just a presentation.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, so presentation by Gail Richmond. Would that do it?
Presentation by Gail Richmond of evaluating a library director. How's that?
Yes.
What do I like it. How about MA?
I guess so, yeah.
Is that your
I know
recall?
we also went on and spoke about conferences that are sponsored by ACLB.
Oh, yeah,
I
we've
know
got,
that.
I've got a bunch right now.
Okay, so presentation by Gail Richmond. And then something about, she informed us about the new ACLB conferences or something like that.
The one, I informed the board about upcoming that there will be upcoming ACLB conferences.
Okay, did the secretary get all that or did she just slit her wrist?
We'll send her a sympathy card, huh?
I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Could you read back what we did?
It says presentation by G. Richmond informed the board about the upcoming ACLB assessment. I think assessment tool. I think that's how it ended. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And then she also said, told us that there was two. She also stated there were upcoming ACLB conferences,
Okay.
which are taking place at the end of October, beginning of November.
There you
And she
go.
also
Mhm.
that they're
Okay. All right. Now, see, who did the,
I did.
Gail did, and I will second it with,
okay, Dale, would
with
you like to
correction.
correct your motion at this point?
I make a motion, we accept the secretary's report as corrected.
Second,
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Hearing none, it's
I'm
unanimous.
I'm-
Whoop, somebody abstained. Whoop, what-
I'm gonna abstain, Pat, because I was not at last month's meeting.
Okay, so got that? Peter abstained because he was not present.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Oh, phew, that was hard work. Okay, and the next thing, the financial report.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Not really much to look at on the financial report because it's the beginning of the fiscal year. And nothing has been spent yet because we haven't finance hasn't opened it up for spending. So this is essentially our clean budget, what we have to spend this year. And the only thing that's gotten out of it is some part-time payroll. I don't have the final numbers for last fiscal year either. That gets kind of closed up over the next month or so. So hopefully August, September, I can show you the end of last fiscal year, and then we'll start spending out of this one as well. But this is just basically the approved budget with nothing spent yet.
Anyone have any questions or insights or comments? Hearing none. Thank you, Kevin. And then after that, we have the library director's report.
Okay. So there's a flood in the basement. It was due to a sink being left down overnight on Wednesday morning. There must have been a slow clog in the drain that caused the sink to overflow. Water spilled out into the break room and then seeped into the chair storage room, the air handler room, and the 2 study rooms. So it's a mess. ServPro came in, removed all the carpet squares and vinyl tiles from the kitchen and the staff room. They also set out several fans to dry the subfloor. So once everything's dry, then we can work on, figuring out what our step is to reassemble the carpet and the tile on the floor. So right now there's just fans in the basement that's still ongoing. They checked the moisture today and they wanted to keep the fans running for another day and check it again.
Mhm.
Donna put an insurance claim for the damage and the adjuster visited the building on Friday. So right now the tables and chairs are moved out of that side closet in the community room, but it hasn't affected programs that we've needed to use it in there. We just kind of reoriented the space to have the chairs face another wall. And we're hopeful that by Wednesday is the next time it really gets used. We have a blood drive on Wednesday that we'll be able to put the chairs and tables away by then, because that area, I don't think we'll need much remediation. And basically, once it's dry, I think we can start using it. I was approached by a representative from a nonprofit called Family
Can
Diversity
I
Project.
just jump in before we
Yes.
move on?
Of course, Donna.
The blood drive is scheduled for this Wednesday.
Yes.
We might want to start looking for an alternate location if we have to move that.
Okay, I think we can
Maybe-
move the tables and chairs, whatever we need to. They don't need to get into any of the study rooms. They don't need to there's nothing in the community room that's damaged, or it's just, there's chairs in there from the closet.
Um,
Those chairs could be moved anywhere.
is this run by the Red Cross?
Yes.
You might want to call and check with them to make sure they're okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're still having moisture issues down there, we don't know what, if any work may be going on down there at that time. ServPro may come in and have to do some more work. I just think we should be ready with an alternate location in case it can't happen on Wednesday.
Okay.
It's only,
And does the Red Cross like the kitchen too? Do their workers need the kitchen?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was also thinking if whether the presence of moisture would present some problems regarding mold or fungus or yeast or something.
Yeah, that's what Donna just said. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned about that too.
Okay, well, I'll
Would
check
St.
in.
would St. Peter's or Gilead be available?
Or
Um,
how about the senior center?
What time does it run for? Because they had the lunch.
I think it's 9 to 2, I believe.
Hmm,
That would be a problem with the senior center.
yeah,
Yes, it would.
I think the other one would be St. Peter's, I guess.
St. Peter's has had blood drives there before,
And
so,
so has Gilead, so.
Yeah,
right.
you can call Father Ron and find out if you could do it,
Okay.
Kevin.
I'll make some calls. Okay, so moving on. So Family Diversity Projects asked if the library would host an exhibit of photographic portraits of immigrants and refugees. So the exhibit's called Burning Bridges. It's traveling around to
Building bridges, Kevin.
burning bridges, building bridges. Yes, different exhibit we don't want. So it's traveling around to a lot of locations. There are the libraries that are hosting it. There are some churches that are hosting it for a couple of weeks here and there. I told her that I think that we should be able to do it second half of October. So we've got some hanging materials in the community room that I think it'll look very nice there.
And this is going to be photographs.
Photographs, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think there are 30 or so of them.
This can go on to diversity and equity, Kevin.
Okay. And they are a real 501c3, by the way.
Yeah, they're
They're legit. Okay. And they've had some really good projects and programs around in different states also.
yeah, I think they're based in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, yeah. Pioneer Valley, I think they call it. Okay.
We received some donations of some Diana Tyler prints from two individuals, Gary Porter and Jack Guarnacia, and sent them thank you cards. They gave us a couple of prints each. So right now they're on display in the community room, and they're very nice. They're framed, and it was nice of them to think of us, since we have other ones around the building.
What are they of?
Some of them are doubles of things that we already have. I couldn't tell you, MA, but if you want to come over and take a look, they're not all Hebron, but there's a couple that are town. Others are just around the state.
Okay.
Okay. Please proceed. I've got to catch my dog. Hang, I'm very back.
Summer reading programs begun. We've had a lot of patrons picking up bingo cards, and it seems like it's getting more traction this summer than last summer at this point. So I'm hoping that continues. The state libraries began collecting more data around summer reading. I've got a program, or I'm attending a session on that next week to see how we can collect more data for them. And our story time room right now is open to the public with arts and crafts. And they have makerspace, language arts, and math projects that are kind of just out for any time a family comes in and uses them. It's been very busy up there. The library participated in Code's Juneteenth celebration on June 18th. Brenda Kelleher, LTA here, and also a friend of the library, staffed a table with relevant materials, and so patrons could place holds on them. We were going to have them checked out right there, but we also didn't want to just have an empty table after we were there for an hour. So patrons could place holds on items and then pick them up later or later on in the day or in the week. So we were happy to be a part of it. Everything seems to have been a success. I wish I could have been there to see it. So hopefully we'll be a part of it in future years too.
It was a very good celebration. They did an excellent job.
It's good. Yeah. Everybody seemed very pleased. So that's good to hear. Our Wi-Fi hotspots, they've been serviced by Sprint, but T-Mobile acquired Sprint. So they're officially serviced by T-Mobile as of July 1st. We've upgraded hardware, but nothing really significant's changed as far as how they operate. They're 4G now, so they're a little bit more advanced from what we had in the past, but they operate pretty much the same. So from staffing perspective, nothing's really changed from how you check them out or how you use them. The new games collection's been receiving a lot of positive attention, and a lot of people have been checking that out too. We added a handful of more items at the end of June. We got a cornhole set, a can jam set, and a spike ball set. And we've had 17 circs on the 10 items over the month, which is pretty good for kind of a unique collection. Biblio Plus is live. It hasn't seen too much use yet, but it was also just announced in the newsletter at the beginning of July. So we're working on a poster and getting some more press out for that. A lot of things happen all at once, end of June. It's easy for stuff to get lost. Pat was kind enough to donate a few flags and a flagpole that could be displayed in the front of the library. So we had a pride flag out during the remainder of June, and then we have an American flag on display for Independence Day and for this month. And we're going to alternate them periodically.
Kevin, are you going to alternate the other two flags too?
Yeah, we have a Hate Has No Home Here flag as well, and a Black Lives Matter flag. So I'm planning on it.
Okay.
The library saw a nice circulation bump in June compared with last year. Total circulation was 5363 and this year versus 4430 in 2021. So nearly over a 20% increase, and that's almost all from physical items, which is interesting. So our gate count wasn't significantly higher than last year, but people are checking out more items, and I think the lockers are probably playing a little bit into it too. Those do get a lot of regular traffic that I think it's helping people check more things out. The children's department is hosting some bantam eggs this summer. So it's an incubator, and they have 6 or 8 eggs in there that they're gonna hatch in 3 weeks from when they're delivered, so about 2 weeks from now. And we should have little chicks running around there for a couple of weeks after that. So we're very excited about that. Excited
Who
for the
gets
chicks.
who gets the chickens? Who gets the bannies?
Well, I think they take them back.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
gonna raffle them off or anything.
All right. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. And that's the end of the report. I included the piece from the ACLB website that we talked about last month, just because it was asked to be included.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Any questions or comments or for Kevin? Okay. Any comments on the attachment?
It was very good.
Nice picture.
Nice photo.
Yeah, nice job. That was very nice.
Well, thanks to Gail for giving us the opportunity.
Looks good.
The locker's not in it, right? It's a year old or something?
Yeah, the rose pictures may be a year old and the other one's much older. So the lockers aren't in there yet.
God, that's a nice picture. Okay. Next is the Friends of the Douglas Library. Guess we don't have any friends.
We don't have a representative
Okay.
this month. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a whole lot of business on that front. They have summer items out for sale. But they had their book sale, I believe, before our last meeting. I think it was earlier in June than when we met. So there'll be another one in September. But yeah, they're just working on organizing and doing all their great work that they do.
Most excellent. Oh, Town Manager Representative.
Hello. As Kevin mentioned, we're in the new budget year, so we're gearing up with that. Working on making sure everybody has the information that they need. We are moving ahead with approved CIP projects, and then the ARPA funds, the selectmen will most likely give their final blessing to the list at their next meeting, and then we'll start moving ahead with the ARPA projects. And on the roof project, we did get the signed grant back from the state last week. And we are, as Kevin reported, the building committee is finishing up the bid specifications. Then we'll run it by the attorney and try to put some dates on that and get it out and get that project moving. And on the flooding issue, as Kevin reported, we did do the insurance claim, and they will most likely subrogate that to the cleaning company if it is determined that it was the cleaning company's error that caused that sink to overflow. So we're still pursuing that. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Any questions? Hearing none. Board of Selectmen.
Well, I don't have any new news, but I do have a couple of questions. And as Donna is with us, I want to ask about the library putting up flags other than the national flag, the state flag. Kevin mentioned that they were putting up a pride flag, that they're putting up a Black Lives Matter flag. I don't know if that's appropriate for a town building to do. It's not a question of what our sentiment is about that item, but whether or not we should be undertaking to do that. We've had that come before the Board of Selectmen, and you don't take partisan sides.
Okay.
Donna might have something to say about that.
I just want to report that is not the main flagpole. That is a new bracket and a new staff that was put on there. So, it's something you have to run by the Board of Selectmen then.
Yeah, it's town property.
Mm-hmm. So how do we get that in front of the selectmen? Do we have it on
We
the
asked
next?
Donna to put it on the agenda, but Donna, you were just going to say something on that,
I'm
weren't
sorry.
you?
So what I can report is first, and I don't know if the American flag is flying there most of the time, right, Kevin?
Yep.
Are we taking it in and out day and night, or is it just out there?
It's just out there.
So if it's out there 24/7, it needs to be lit. There needs to be a light on it, or we cannot leave it out there. We have to take it in every night.
Mhm.
The policy that
Is there a light? I don't even know.
There's a light
There
kind of
has-
out by there, but I don't think there's one like trained on it. So
Okay.
it's because it's where that overhang is, and I think there's a little light there anyway. But okay.
yeah, there has to be the flag needs to be illuminated if it's out during overnight. The town's policy on the flags, I believe, pertains to the town flagpoles, but the policy is that we will only fly the American flag and the POW flag. We've had other requests for other flags, and we have established that policy. And I believe Gail's right. It is a town building. We just need to be careful because no matter, everybody has their own opinions, but we definitely need to remain neutral, and we can't make political statements on our buildings.
And that would include Black Lives Matter?
I believe that it would.
Okay. And the other one was just a sign, said hate does not have a home here. That was the general, the one, the t-shirt flag type thing. So, but how do we get on the agenda, Gail?
Donna makes up our agenda packet,
There you go.
but the reason that policy was established was to avoid controversy. If we do not make a statement for one, if we make a statement for one group, then we're going to have every other group doing it. And I guess we would be changing the flags hourly. So the Board of Selectmen job is to take care of internal matters within the town. And if we start getting into these groups, we're opening ourselves up to criticism and the like, and that's not our purpose. It's not in our
Okay.
purview.
If the flag was moved on the outside and like posted on a bulletin board or something, would that be permissible?
Sounds to me like it's still on town property, but it's not my decision, but that's my opinion. If it's anywhere within the town or on that property, it's on town property.
So that means that, like the posters and things that have been posted in the library also?
What posters are you
And
referencing?
I think there was wasn't there a rainbow flag up on a bulletin board somewhere, Kevin?
Yeah, we had several, we had a large pride display on our main window, and then in the teen section, we had
Oh,
the
yeah.
various different smaller flags that make up the larger LGBTQ plus.
I think that is different, and would be
Yeah.
considered different than displaying a flag. We have displays in the library and in the town hall, in the schools, on all different events or
Mhm.
dedications or recognitions. But I think displaying a flag on the building would be different.
So I'd like to ask that be put on the agenda if possible. And for the meantime, the American flag is okay, right? Leaving that on the building.
Yes,
The policy is
during the
American
day.
flag and the POW flag.
Okay. So the other flags, if they are displayed at this point in time, would have to be inside. Is that correct? Am I correct? Like a,
That's what it sounds like.
pardon me?
That's what it sounds like, and I will.
Okay. Meanwhile, we'll get some confirmation on that from the board, if that's okay. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we can clarify that. And if there's an issue with it having on it inside, the board should also consider that also.
It
But
may be something that the board consider adding a policy in the policy manual.
yeah. And does that
Because
include,
different people are going to have different opinions on whether or not a flag is appropriate.
can we have a Santa Claus flag? Sorry, for Christmas? Sorry, I guess not.
We don't have a Christmas
Do we have
party.
Christmas?
We
do
have a winter wonderland or whatever it is, but we do not have a Christmas party.
So we could have a winter wonderland flag or no?
Hello, Pat.
I'm trying to make a joke here, Gail. You're not doing so good, huh? Moving on.
Trying.
Okay, I have nothing to report except I'm just asking for confirmation on the flags. And that is that. I guess we're moving on to old business. Building updates.
So building updates, we've kind of heard everything about the roof already from Donna. We're just working on finalizing the document. S&E came in and did some work on the HVAC system in late June. Then they asked me how temperatures are holding. I told them that the temperatures seem to be keeping to their set points in each area, but there is still too much moisture in the basement, and that precedes the flooding. And that you do notice when you walk from one zone to another. So especially when you walk from the third floor down to the second, you do feel that it feels a couple degrees different. When you walk from the hallway up to the circulation desk, you feel the zone change. So even though they're all set to the same set point, it doesn't feel that way. So I let them know that, and they said they're gonna kind of look into it a little bit. Windows were finally installed on Sunday. So all the windows are installed. The project isn't quite done because the windows are not painted. They're just kind of bare wood. So we need to figure out how to get them painted white to match the rest of the walls here. So I'm going to touch base. I'm going to touch base with Willie about that to see if that was part of their plan or if that's something that we need to handle on our own.
Is that different than the prior windows when they were installed?
The prior windows were white when they were put in. This is a different vendor. The other vendor couldn't do it, so they switched vendors.
Okay.
So
Yeah, bare wood needs to be coated to preserve it,
I'm
so.
surprised.
yeah,
I think they should have been primed at least.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think we're lucky to get the window. Let's see. How long has it taken to just get the window?
I think it's
Even
been
though they
a
should have
year.
been primed, I agree with you, Dale. It's,
Yeah.
we're lucky to get the windows in.
Darn lucky, and it's been a long fight. Good point, Dale.
When do you think you'll find out about the bare wood, by the way?
I'll send Willie a text tomorrow, and
Okay.
he'll just, he might respond to me right away. He might respond to me next time I see him.
Okay, cool.
Or there might be some volunteer out there that would be willing to paint them.
Well, we have funds in our budget specifically for building painting that was something that was given to us this year. So we have $5,000 to paint walls. So I was planning, since we just had some of that work done late May, early June. I was planning on having them come back and do the community room and see how much else I could get them to do with those funds. So
I have a
back for that, the
question.
windows, they'd be. Yes, I mean.
Is that bare wood both interior and exterior, or are they vinyl or something on the exterior?
The exterior is vinyl. It's just like the little.
Okay, so it's just the
edge here.
interior.
It's like this right here.
All right.
Oh, okay. So it's interior.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kevin, what's the status on the balance in that CIP line for the window project?
Well, I haven't paid that last bill yet, so.
So if there's any money left in that line,
You could
that
pay out of
would be
that.
used to paint, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Okay. Is that it for the building updates?
Other thing is just the flood, but I mentioned that in the building report, so there's not really
Okay.
a report, so there's not really anything above that.
Okay. Now policy discussion.
That was tabled until after the strategic plan.
And what the strategic plan that we are getting, what we're getting from the strategic plan committee now is going to be that report.
That'll be that report. So that will be, so this is the draft from the committee. So this board needs to approve that so they can, so in the August meeting, we'll do a presentation and we'll take comments and we can hopefully come up with a final draft that will be approved by this.
Okay.
Board.
All right, moving on to poet laureate.
I think that's been a table for a couple of years now, and I know we have to continue. Althea is in West Virginia, so she couldn't meet, and Gail, I don't know, we haven't gotten together.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that, which would be in effect, I would discuss with Mary Ann and Althea after Labor Day, but we need to have a kickoff. We need to invite the school children as well as the other residents in town to submit something, and then we need to present them at a kickoff meeting. So,
Well, you see, that's part of what the committee needs to discuss, so we can't wait until Labor Day for that. We should get together, within the next month,
okay,
just to establish plans for such.
agreed.
Anything else on Poet Laureate? Now,
Next time we report it, it'll all be in rhyme, I hope.
that may be our, never mind, our poetry contribution. Okay. The ACLB Board Assessment Tool.
I don't have, I've been caught up on the last few weeks with some other personal matters. I have nothing, even though I helped, was a prime contributor to writing it. I have nothing to say about it at this time.
Would you like to have it tabled?
Yes, I think we need to finish it. Yes.
But,
Okay.
but Gail, under
Yes.
under the ACLB, would that not include the sending out the director's evaluation? Would that come under that?
Well, yes, the assessment tool does, the plan of action does include what the library would do going forth, but this was written on a statewide basis. So
Oh,
I have to include other things besides what our library will do, because the libraries in the town, in the state of Connecticut, go from the small town out east of 1,000 people to our big municipal libraries, such as Hartford and Bridgeport and New Haven.
But then a subtext under that, wouldn't you want to just write in that, the evaluation of the director will be sent
Oh, you
out?
want to put that
They're
in
two
our minutes
separate
right
items.
now?
Those
Oh,
are two separate items. We got to keep those two items separate.
And it's right now, it's not on the agenda, is it?
Well, that's why I was bringing it up, so that we could do a separate A and a B, or, whatever.
What's the policy for amending the agenda, Donna?
Other new business.
New business?
It's a regular meeting, so you could add an agenda item under new business,
We
Okay.
have 6
other new
Dash two.
business.
And that was the director assessment?
library director assessment, yeah.
Okay. And was there something else
But
you
I
wanted?
thought-
Peter, that's okay by you?
Peter? Must be.
You're muted, Peter, if you're trying to
I
talk.
was muted. I'm sorry. To discuss the director's review in under new business.
Just that we'll send it out and proceed from there.
Yeah, if it's all right with you, Gail, it's fine with me. We just have to get together and do it.
Okay.
Okay, was there anything else that we needed to change and add to new business at this point? Okay. All right, moving on to okay, so number 4 is tabled, and we've ended going to add a new agenda item to new business for the director assessment, correct?
Yes.
Grant updates.
No grant updates we haven't spoken about already. The only one that's really rolling in motion is the roof, and I'll have the final program from the Hebron Together grant in September.
Okay. We tabled the discussion regarding in-person meetings until September. Is there a reason why this is on here again?
No, I just left it tabled so it was out in the open.
Okay, so that's not for reconsideration? Okay.
No, no.
Okay, and then the updated vision statement.
So this was, this is in your packet. This was just the altering the word diverse to inclusive and perhaps eliminating the word innovative.
Yeah, okay.
So currently reads, the Douglas Library of Hebron is an integral part of our community, offering a welcoming, safe, and diverse environment to pursue lifelong learning by utilizing our ever-evolving collections, services, and innovative technologies. The suggested edit is the Douglas Library. Once again, I missed the other. The Douglas Library of Hebron is an integral part of our community, offering a welcoming, safe, and inclusive environment in which to pursue lifelong learning by utilizing our ever-evolving collections, services, and technologies.
Any discussion?
I move that we accept that change, if such is appropriate right now.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, sorry. Opposed? And abstention, I'm abstaining on that. Okay, moving on. New business, challenge materials policies. Kevin?
So in your packet, I've included the request for reconsideration policy, which is posted on our website, along with the Library Bill of Rights and the Freedom to Read statement. And I think I included did I include the form as well? No, I didn't. So this is part of our collection development policy on the website. And essentially, if an individual would like an item, believes that an item does not belong in the library collection, they can fill out a statement of concern about library materials. That form is available online. It's available at the circulation desk. And they make their case for why they believe the item shouldn't be a part of our collection. That form then gets brought by the library director to the Board of Trustees, who determine whether the material selected is in line with the collection development policy as a whole. In the meantime, the item stays on the shelf, stays in circulation, and the board then makes the board makes the decision about whether or not it will stay there after the fact, and the individual is notified.
You said it stays on a shelf during review.
Yes.
I really would like everybody to take a closer look at that and review it more carefully in consideration of some news items that have been coming out lately to make sure it covers all the circumstances and is strong enough. And the other thing I'm concerned about is having the librarian involved in the review process on the suitability of the circulated materials. Because right now the librarian is left out, and I would like to see the librarian involved. That's just my thoughts on it. You know, I don't know if we want to do an appeal process, him make the decision. And I think the standards have to be fairly clear on why things are selected. We should take a look at that again to make sure that it's absolutely clear what our standards are, so no one could challenge something just because we omitted a standard. So I would like everybody to take a really good hard look at that.
Would you like me to pull up that policy?
Pat, I like that you said we wanted our statement to be strong.
Mhm.
It needs to be, and yes, I think the library director should be included in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's concerning because I mean, he's the one, you know, he's going to be the face on the hate poster. Sorry.
I was just gonna, the buck stops here. It's with Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I agree. I'd love to be a part of it. The argument is that because ultimately, not that I selected it necessarily, but because I'm responsible for the collection development at this point, my belief is that it does belong in the collection if it's on the shelf already. But I would still like to be able to make my case.
Yeah, and also the request, did they have to describe what the reasons were for why they want it removed in great detail?
Yeah, here, I'm gonna bring up the form and I'm gonna share
Yeah.
the screen.
But
Um,
I think this may take a little bit of thought over time. And people should review what's happening a bit in other libraries. There's been a few articles in New York Times lately,
yeah,
Oh,
there-
yes.
especially, oh, there we go. Especially about some things that have been happening in New Jersey and other states. And also, there was an article in the about Colchester also.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yeah.
And there was one about Coventry.
Coventry too?
yep, there's one about
Yes.
Coventry as well.
In Coventry, some people took down the exhibit and brought the books over to the desk and said they wanted the books burned.
Oh, great.
Mm.
It was their pride
Um,
display.
Excuse me?
It was their pride display.
Yes, that's right.
Coventry. Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
But
Um,
the American Library Association as well as CLA have
Yeah. Very
quite a
strong
lot of statements on it.
Very strong statements, which was very encouraging. But I sent some stuff to Kevin, which he hasn't had a chance to review yet, with some suggestions and ideas about firming up the policies. Kevin, if you would share that with the other board members,
Sure.
you can put it in the packet or just send it out. I don't know which is appropriate, but they're just some draft suggestions that I thought might stimulate some thinking and some opinions. But I really do think it's very, very important that we make sure that there are no holes and that it's very clear what the policies really are.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for what it's worth, I think our policy is pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
in line,
decent.
it's in line with other policies I've read, and I think it's fairly clear. I think this form, requires people to make a case for what they think things need to be, and I think the collection development policy, which so it's sort of broad, but also, also can be narrow if needed. So the library board of trustees recognize that individuals in the community have diverse interests, backgrounds, and cultural heritage, social values and needs. The board further recognizes that the library serves all people within the community, regardless of age, race, sex, or sexual orientation, national origin, political or social views. Library does not exclude material that are biased, partisan, antisocial, or which may offend the tastes of some residents. A balanced collection will represent all points of view on a subject as much as possible. And then we have the that we support the Library Bill of Rights and the freedom to read statements from the ALA, which I think also cover a lot more specific ground. So I think we're in good shape. It doesn't mean it couldn't be better, and I think that it is definitely a good time to take a look at this. And
Okay, I just wanted to point out that list of discrimination groups is not what the law is now. There's some groups that are not listed there that are protected now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we need to check into that. I sent you those laws also. I think, did I, Kevin? I can't remember.
yeah, I think you did.
Okay. Yeah, and also I sent some laws regarding what is harassment. I also sent laws about photographing in the library, recording materials in the library, privacy of circulation materials, because I've heard that people are coming into the libraries and actively and secretly filming people without their permission and recording conversations. So that's something else. New technology means new problems. So we have to consider those too. But
Yeah, in our library specifically, or in libraries in general? The
You mean-
recording and videotaping and recording.
it's happened in libraries in New Jersey. I don't know of any in Connecticut, but there have been in other states. And the videos have been posted online.
No, I understand that. I wanted to clarify if you meant it was happening in our library.
Oh, God, no,
or
not that
just-
I know of,
Okay,
no.
Okay,
No,
all
no.
right. Thank
You know, but who knows, one of these days.
Yeah, we
Um,
want to stop it before it happens.
Yep. we sure do.
Hmm.
And we want to give Kevin all that power, but we don't want him to get a swelled head or anything like that. Okay. Okay. All right. So if Kevin can send those out and put it on for the agenda for next time, that we would like to have some thoughts and ideas about different ways that the policies could either be more defined, or I'm sure some of you can come up with more problems and issues that you've heard about and things we have to protect against. Okay. Because we are a public agency and we have to protect our patrons also. So we have to be very careful. Oh, and the other thing that people are doing is they're picketing outside of libraries and disrupting people going in
Yeah,
and interviewing people on their way in, trying to get them to sign petitions and whatnot. So I'm not quite sure what to do about that because it is a public space. So we'll have to think about it. Okay. Let's go down to director assessment, which was a new agenda item added under new business.
well, July is the month when department heads get evaluated by the town. So the last several years, Peter and I have been interviewing, sending out the forms to all of you, collating the results, and then meeting with Kevin and with Andy. It's a pretty straightforward process that we use. And Kevin, you're in the hot seat again this month. It is July. Peter, did I leave anything out? Peter's on mute again.
No, I'm not on mute. No, you didn't leave anything out. Good job.
Okay.
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Peter was not on mute. I think he was asleep, actually.
Was I snoring that loudly?
Yes, Peter. Yes, you were. Okay. Is there any more comments or questions about the director assessment?
And what is your deadline for it, Gail? You'll put that on your form?
Yeah, what is our deadline? If we get it out within the next few days, what do you need? 10 days, 14 days, folks, to do it? Or if we give you 5 days, you might get it done faster. You know, it's like being in graduate school. Uh-oh, they're breathing down my neck. I better get to work.
I just wanted to point out, Gail, this is vacation season too, for some people.
Yes, I keep thinking that I need one.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah, if we go slightly over the end of the month, I don't think Andy is going to fire us, seeing as he can't. So I'll talk to Peter during the week and we'll get it out.
Okay, great. Okay. Other new business? Hearing none. We move now to strategic plan committees.
Okay, strategic plan update committee. The update is that in your inboxes, you should all have a copy of the draft strategic plan. So please take a look at that. We'd like to be able to present and discuss that at the next meeting. We put a lot of work into it. And I think there's some really great ideas in there. So we're looking for feedback, and we want to make sure that the whole board is on the same page so we can move forward as a group.
Now, do you want to add that to the agenda for next month?
Yep.
Uh-oh, does that mean the August one's not going to be a half hour long?
Pat, you're killing me.
Or is that something that we could take up in September?
We can push this stuff along as long as we want to. We've been working on this for over, almost a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. It's if we're having an
Yeah.
August meeting, I think we should get to it. We should have it on there. If we're not having an August meeting and it went to September,
Okay, we'll put it on the agenda. Sorry, Peter.
Okay, Pat.
And So everybody be prepared. We're going to be grading this one. Okay. The next item is safe space.
Yeah, I have nothing new to report.
Technology. Donna.
Hi, well, we're working on the computer replacements. We have some new setups for the library that will be installed at some point. We are also upgrading the library public computers. So we have a project with Novus to do that installation. And now that we have all the funding in place for our security measures, we're going to start working on those, which will provide a couple more new cameras at the library for security. And then we'll be installing keyless entry in all of our buildings. That will include the library. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Diversity.
Library was part of the Juneteenth celebration. And
And
what else?
the program that you just mentioned that has come about, the immigrant program.
Yes, we've signed
Mm.
on to host the photograph display in October.
And don't you have an equity boot? Don't we have another boot?
In
equity
September,
boot?
yeah. So in September, there'll be the final equity boot camp program, which will be another lecture discussion. So those are always a lot of fun. And I guess we're gonna maybe talk to the Board of Selectmen about what flags we're allowed to have, which I think falls under this committee a little bit.
Okie dokie. Next, community.
Nothing new to report at this time.
Okay, lifelong learning. Now Thea's not here.
And Colleen's not here.
Okay, that was quick. Okay, is there any other business that should be coming before the board?
Pat, I'd just like to,
Who's that?
this is
Susan?
Sue. This is
Okay.
Sue, yeah. I'd just like to apologize for my rambling during the last meeting. Since the inception in the 1800s, the Hebron Literary Society, and then Hebron Library, and forward to today, they've promoted cultural and educational events for all of the residents. And the Douglas Library Association and Friends of the Library continue to fund these opportunities for today. And I'm sorry if I upset anyone or offended anybody, but I would not intentionally say anything that would bring unfavorable tension to the library or its ancillary groups. And I think this board has a very positive energy, and I'm happy to help move things forward.
Susan, thank you. And I still will repeat my offer to take you to lunch
Oh, I'd be happy to.
or coffee or something. Because I'm sorry, I've been so busy. I just haven't had a chance to, set something up, but I will, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else? Hearing nothing else, can I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, gosh, yes. Okay.
Thank you. Everybody stay cool
Thank you.
and safe.
And
Take care,
do
everybody.
your